Have you ever felt like you're carrying something that isn't yours anymore? A past version of yourself, a love that faded, a burden you've quietly outgrown. You keep holding on, not because it still fits, but because you're afraid of what might happen if you let go. But what if letting go isn't the end? What if it's the beginning of coming home to yourself? Letting go is not giving up, it's self-respect. Have you ever held on to something so tightly that it began to hurt you? A relationship, a job, an argument. You told yourself it mattered, that to let go would be failure, weakness, or apathy. But the truth is, sometimes the strongest thing we can do is detach. Not because we never cared, but because we've finally learned to care for ourselves. Detachment isn't coldness. It's not bitterness. It's not walking away with anger in your heart or shutting down emotionally. No, Stoic detachment is the opposite. It is clarity. It's the quiet realization that your peace is too expensive to trade for chaos. It's the strength to observe the storm without being pulled into it. The Stoics taught us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Detachment doesn't mean you stop loving someone. It means you stop losing yourself trying to hold on to something that's no longer mutual or healthy. It's understanding that life moves on, and you don't need to grip it so tightly to feel worthy, safe, or whole. Much of our suffering comes not from life itself, but from our attachment to how we think life should be. We cling to people who no longer see us. We fight to prove our worth. We stay in places that have outgrown us, because leaving feels like failure. But ask yourself this: is holding on helping you heal, or is it holding you hostage? Sometimes we stay because we're afraid of what emptiness might feel like. But emptiness is not the enemy. Sometimes, emptiness is the beginning of space, space for new peace, new boundaries, and a new self. When you detach, you're not becoming heartless, you're becoming whole. You're learning that your value isn't dependent on being needed, that your worth doesn't rise and fall based on someone else's approval. To detach is to say, I choose my peace over your inconsistency. I choose to walk away, not out of hate but out of love, for myself. In that moment, you stop trying to control what was never yours to control, and you start living in alignment with your deeper truth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That's detachment, not withdrawing from life but stepping fully into your own life. Letting go is one of the hardest things we ever do, not because we're weak, but because we remember how things once felt. We remember the laughter, the love, the dreams. But memory is not reality, and love without respect is not love that can last. So you learn to walk away, even with your hands shaking. You learn to breathe again, even if it's a little painful at first. Because detachment isn't the end. It's the beginning of freedom. You didn't fail. You didn't give up. You simply chose to stop abandoning yourself. Detachment doesn't mean you never cared. It means you finally care for yourself. And that is powerful. That is peace. But still, we hesitate, because letting go feels like giving up. It feels like admitting defeat. Yet the Stoics would remind us, you cannot lose what was never truly within your control. You cannot be defeated by choosing your own peace. Ask yourself this: what are you holding on to that's quietly holding you back? Maybe it's not a person. Maybe it's a version of yourself you no longer are, an expectation that no longer fits, a dream that belonged to someone else. And maybe the most radical act of self-respect is to say, "This no longer serves me. I release it with grace." Detachment is not disconnection. It's a realignment, a return to the center. It's remembering who you are without all the noise, without all the proving, without all the pretending. In silence, in stillness, you return to yourself. And in that return, there is no anger, there is no resentment, only peace, only space, only strength. Detaching doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you finally remembered to care for yourself. And when the silence stretches out, don't rush to fill it. Let it echo for a while. Let it teach you that peace isn't found in noise, in validation, in endless striving. It's found in your ability to sit with yourself and feel whole. Detachment doesn't mean walking alone forever. It means you're no longer afraid to walk alone for a while. The Stoics knew this. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Epictetus. You begin to see that letting go was never the loss. It was the clearing, the opening, the recentering. You start making room for what is real, not what was imagined, forced, or chased. And in that space, you meet yourself again. You realize you were never too much. You were just giving too much to the wrong things. You were never hard to love. You were just trying to be loved in the wrong places. Now you return to your own roots, not hardened, but healed. Not bitter, but wiser. Not smaller, but more whole. No more gripping, no more forcing, no more proving, just being. This is detachment. Not a wall, but a window. Not escape, but arrival. A coming home to yourself. Let go, and let what's real find you. Peace begins where expectation ends, and self-respect begins where you finally let go. There is a quiet kind of strength that never gets celebrated. Not the strength to fight, but the strength to stop fighting, to stop chasing what's running away, to stop explaining yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. There is wisdom in no longer needing to be right. There is peace in no longer needing to be chosen. Sometimes the most powerful thing you'll ever do is nothing. No reply, no defense, no dramatic exit, just space. And in that space, something beautiful happens. You no longer wait for closure. You no longer bargain with potential. You no longer build a home in places that ask you to shrink. You start to live light. You stop dragging yesterday into tomorrow. You release the story you kept telling yourself, the one that kept you stuck, because you finally know you don't have to stay in pain just because it's familiar. The Stoics taught this not as theory, but as practice. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Epictetus. Detachment is not cold. It's warm, because it says, I care enough about my life to stop wasting it in struggle. You stop needing to win someone's love. You stop needing to fix everything. You understand now. Your energy is sacred, and anything that costs you your peace is too expensive. So you let go, not to give up, but to rise up. This is your path now, one not defined by who left, but by how deeply you choose to return to yourself. Let that be the new chapter. Let that be enough. So let go gently, not in anger, not in fear, but in self-respect. Not everything you release is a loss. Some things you let go of, so you can return to yourself. And in that return, there is peace, there is strength, there is you.